Hey everyone, this video is going to be covering Module 4, which is all about outlining. Before we get into that, just a couple quick announcements. So last week you should have had your storytelling topic feedback from me. I saw a lot of excellent topics and a lot of excellent lessons, so I'm really looking forward to hearing your final submissions this upcoming weekend. This past weekend, you had your practice audio submission due, and then you were supposed to leave some feedback on another student's post. So we have that little template for you to follow to give feedback on each other's posts. Make sure that you're only posting feedback on somebody if they do not have any feedback already. Of course, if it's like 11:50 tonight and there's no new posts for you to still comment on, then of course, yes, go ahead. You can double dip on some feedback. But if we can, we want to make sure that we spread it out so that every single student has the opportunity to get some peer feedback. All right, this is super important because inevitably somebody always messes this up every semester. So I want to be very, very clear. You have your storytelling podcast assignment that's due this weekend. You'll submit 3 files. You'll have your prep outline, your speaking outline, and your audio file. The outlines that we are covering this week in Module 4 are for your informative speech. So do not use them for your storytelling podcast. The outlines that you are using for your storytelling podcast are in Module 3. So you can look at these 2 example ones that we've provided for you in Module 3. You can download it and then just edit out the example content and plug in your own content. Okay, so following these outlines for your podcast. Again, the storytelling or the outlines we're learning this week are for your informative speech, which is coming up here in a couple weeks. So when you go to submit, like I said, you're going to be submitting 3 files. So for your storytelling podcast assignment, we're going to click right here in Module 4A to open it up. Then you'll click on Submit Assignment. Then before you do anything else, click right here where it says Add Another File. Do that 2 times. So now I've got 3 files or 3 spaces for me to upload files. So upload your audio file, then upload your prep outline, then upload your speaking outline. Select that you agree to this. And user license agreement, and then hit submit assignment, and all 3 of your files will be submitted at one time. Of course, late Sunday night, if you're going to submit Canvas, we've got a couple thousand students all trying to upload at once, so Canvas gets a little weird. If you're really struggling to get uploaded, go ahead, attach those 3 files in an email and send it to me. So that way I at least know you got it done on time, but I still need you to submit all 3 of those files either on Monday or Tuesday after it's due. Okay, it won't count as late because I'll know you've gotten it done on time because you submitted it to me through email, but I still need you to submit it through Canvas as well. Okay. As always, if you have any questions about any of this kind of stuff, feel free to email me, come to my drop-in hours, whatever. I'm more than happy to help. All right, so now that we've covered, again, don't use Module 4, but we're going to get into it. So outlining. Why do we have you outline? Well, outlines really help us organize our ideas. If I went into something and just had no kind of framework for what I wanted to say, my speech is probably going to be a mess and people probably aren't going to understand what it is I'm trying to say. So we want to make sure that we outline so that we have a good framework and a good flow to our information that we're trying to present to our audiences. So there's 3 big principles that we wanted to cover. We've got subordination, coordination, and division. So subordination is just about creating a hierarchy for our ideas. So you'll see like visually on the outlines, you'll have Roman numeral 1 for the intro, Roman numeral 2 for the body, Roman numeral 3 for the conclusion. So that's just saying that those 3 sections are equal in significance. Then you'll have, your first main point will be A, and then you'll have subpoint that'll be like a small a. And so it just goes to show you that, the main point is more significant than the subpoint. When it comes to coordination, we're just, it's kind of like the hierarchy on a sideways manner. So everything that's the Roman numerals should all be lined up because, again, they have the same significance. Your main points, A, B, C, whatever, those are going to be indented, but again, all consistent on the same level to show that they are all the same significance. And then finally, when it comes to division, that's just saying that you're showing equal amount of attention to each thing. So I'm not going to have main point 1 with like 7 subpoints and then main point 2 with 1 subpoint, right? Every main point needs at least 2 subpoints, but every main point also needs to have the same number of subpoints. So if I have 2 subpoints for A, then I need 2 for B and 2 for C. If I have 3 for main point 1, then I need 3 for B and 3 for C as well, okay? So making sure that we're spending equal amount of time on each main point and subpoint. Then, like always, you'll always have 2 outlines to submit. You'll have your prep and your speaking outline. So your prep outline is the big developed one with all the content that you want to put in there. It's got all the information, as much as you can put, full sentences, all that good stuff. Then the speaking outline, we're just taking the prep outline, using that same visual framework, that same format, and just significantly reducing the content. So just into, some words or phrases that kind of jog your memory and keep you on track while you're delivering your speech. So while you are delivering your speech, feel free to be, holding your speaking outline, have it pulled up on your computer, whatever it is, just to kind of glance at if you need to jog your memory, keep you on track about what you're doing. Now, of course, I do not want you reading from either of your outlines, but you can definitely have your speaking outline up just to kind of reference to help keep you on track, okay? So the introduction is all about getting your audience's attention, telling them why they should care about what you're talking about, telling them why you are the one that they should be listening to about this, and then you're giving them your thesis and your preview. Then when we transition, that just helps us smoothly move between points, right? If I'm talking about my intro and I'm getting through it and then I'm giving you my preview of main points, I would smoothly transition by summarizing what I just talked about and then introducing the next thing I'm going to be talking about. So something like, now that we've just finished talking about A, let's turn our attention to B. Something like that, just to kind of help move from one point to another. And then in your conclusion, you want to make sure that you're signaling that this is the end. So you're going to summarize, restate your thesis, summarize what it is you just talked about, and then have some kind of memorable conclusion so that your audience members remember what it is you just told them. So if you go into Module 4, you can see the 2 example outlines we've got up here for you. Again, these are for your informative speech, not for your storytelling podcast. All right. So here you can see this is what a good outline would look like. So you've got your name, my name, Com 101 in the section, and then the date it's due. So here's your informative speech prep outline. You've got your attention grabber, audience relevance, speaker credibility, thesis. So here you can say, we've got our principles of coordination, subordination, and division. So here we've got main point 1 with 2 subpoints. Main transition, main point 2, 2 subpoints, transition, main point 3, subpoints, 2 subpoints, and then you've got your 3 parts of your conclusion and your reference page, okay? So now looking at this, you can see that that is the prep outline, and then if you just go to the next section, we've got this speaking outline, which is exactly the same visual framework. Everything is exactly the same, how it looks, how it's bolded, but you can just see we've got that significant reduction in content, right? So now we're down to a couple sentences, some words, some quick things that can help jog our memory as we are giving our speech. So again, this isn't something that I want to read from, but it is something that I can use to keep me on track as I'm recording my speech. All right. That's about it for outlining. So this week's question, if you could have lunch with one historically significant person, living or dead, who would it be and why? This guy, his name is Juan Pujol Garcia. He was, I want to say he's British. I forget what nationality he is, but basically he wanted to spy on the Nazis. So he went to the Britain, like MI6. He wanted to be a spy. They were like, no, you're like, oh, he's from Spain. That's what it was. They're like, no, you're not from here. And, you are inexperienced. He was like 18, 19 years old. So they were like, no, go away. So then he was like, okay. So then he went to the Nazis and he was like, hey, I'm a spy for Britain. Do you want me to like be a double agent? And the Nazis were like, yeah, of course we do. So then he goes back to the British and he's like, hey, the Nazis think that I'm a spy and that, I'm an inside agent for them. So now do you want me to like actually help you? And so the British said, yes. So this dude literally created an entire network of spies and fed the Nazis like false information for years. And they never figured it out. because sometimes he would give him good enough information, and then sometimes it would be terrible, but he had such a vast made up network of lies and spies that it was, no one thought he was actually making it up. They thought he was telling the truth just because of how much fake information he was giving them. And so then at the end of the war, he was really scared that, there was going to be some kind of retribution. So he faked his own death and moved to, I think, somewhere in the Caribbean. And everybody, like, left his wife and his children behind. Everybody thought he was dead until some British journalists found him in the 1980s. So this dude, I think, would be really, really interesting to have a conversation with. But what about you? Go ahead, comment on this. Let me know what you think, or who would be a cool person to have lunch or dinner with. So then, just to remind you, you've got your Module 4 quiz that's due Wednesday by 11:59, like always. The Module 4A podcast assignment, so you've got your 3 files, again, your audio, prep, and speaking outlines, all due on Sunday night by 11:59. And then you also have the outline scramble activity due. So that just kind of teaches you how to organize things in an outline. You have unlimited attempts, so it should be pretty easy to get full points on that one. That's it for this video. Like always, if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'm happy to help out. See y'all next week.